Hey guys, this is the coach Chris Ortiz, and I am the author of the book Drive Slow. Now, Drive Slow is a story of a young man and his father, and we got the beautiful city of Houston, Texas as the backdrop. Me, myself, I'm a teacher here at Knox Junior High here in the Woodlands, Texas, and this book is very special to me because it's really based off of a relationship between me and my father. What makes this book even more special is that recently my father has passed away, and it was COVID that got him, and he never got an opportunity to see the story. So I'm hoping to make him proud. And then this book is also inspired by Houston hip hop artist Paul Wall, and that's where the name comes from. So I want to thank Midtown Houston for having me on Children's Storytime, and hopefully you guys enjoy the story. And I'm going to get into reading it right now. You guys follow along. I'm going to start off with the dedication. This book is dedicated to the fathers of the world, the ones who make it a priority to mold and shape the lives of their children, the fathers who play catch with their sons and check under the bed for monsters when they are scared, the fathers who are there from day one to offer love and support. This book is also dedicated to the fathers who decide to own up to their responsibilities a little later in life. You see, it would be great if we could all grow up with a dad that goes to work at 8 a.m. and comes home at 4 p.m., but that's just not the case. The wonderful thing is, it is never too late to be part of your son's life. A relationship can fully blossom regardless of the season. Our kids don't need a fairy tale existence to reach their full potential. What they do need is their father's time, energy, and affection. There is not a time in their life when these things will not be important. This book is dedicated to my old man, Ruben Ortiz, a man of many talents as well as faults. I would be lying if I said our relationship was perfect from the get-go. What I do acknowledge is that as I got older, our bond grew stronger. I wish we could have spent more time together in my youth, but the time we did have was special to me. He has turned into quite the grandfather, a role that he is better suited for, I think. Our lives are much more full and enriched with Grandpa Cookie in it. I love you, Dad, and I know that our best days are ahead of us. Woo, it was very rough to read. It gets easier though. All right, here we go with the story. Drive slow. My dad moved back to his hometown, and it's 20 hours away. I'm going to spend the week with him. My plane leaves today. My bag is packed, and I'm ready for my flight, but I don't want to leave. I hug my mom tight. I haven't seen him in forever. It'll be weird. I say with the plea. He's your father, just like he was, just like he'll always be. I hope she's right, that he'll be nice and he'll like my new shoes, but I can't help thinking it's a gamble and I'm going to lose. I smile bravely for my mom. She's the only one who cries. I board the plane to Houston, alone with my thoughts in the sky. Day one. He's not as tall as I remember. It's been over a year. He says I've grown up a lot as we stand in front of the mirror. I have my mom's face, but his eyes and his hair. He notices my new shoes, says he has the same pair. He's staring at me like he's trying to remember my face. I force my eyes to the ground, still unsure of this place. I think he can tell I'm all mixed up inside. So he grabs his keys and says, let's go for a ride. His city is huge, with buildings stretching up to the sky. We pass one with the giant green letters, and it catches my eye. What's that place, Dad? Why does it say "in hunger"? That's the food bank, son. I had to go there when I was younger. Really? Why? What was it like? I turned to look at him. We were poor, and they helped us back when things were really grim. Do you still need their help? Do you ever go back? No, son. I have a good job now. I'm on the right track. I think you should visit them. You can help people like you. I think you're right, he says with a smile. You can help me too. Day two. He wakes me up early, but I haven't really slept. I've been thinking of promises broken and a few that were kept. He watches me at breakfast, but I pretend not to see. I'm still wondering about him, and maybe he's not sure about me. Finally, he speaks. What do you want to do today? I chase a Cheerio with my spoon, and then I know what to say. Can we see more of the city? Maybe just drive around. He grins and says, I take you to my old stomping ground. We drive, and beneath us, the bayou snakes by. Above us, more highways tangle in the sky. We arrive at two buildings, one old and one new. One is a giant glass stadium, but the other, no clue. The new rectangle gleams, and he says, that's where the Texans play. And that one, he points to the old round one, was a legend in its day. It was the eighth wonder of the world, the first stadium with the dome. It's part of history and part of what we call home. What was it like? Who played there? I asked, suddenly curious about this place. It was like nowhere else on earth, he says, a sad smile on his face. Both the Astros and the Oilers called it home. The place was magic to me. I only went inside once. All the other games I watched on TV. What happened to it? It looks kind of run down and old. They built a new one. People forgot and moved on, truth be told. He's sad, I can tell. So I grab his hand and say, maybe they'll fix it back up and we can go there together one day. He hugs me tight for the first time in a long while, and we drive back to Houston, both our faces in a smile. Day 3. Today's plan is a secret, but it gives me some clues. Bring an extra shirt, pack your basketball shoes. Traffic is tight in the city as we weave through downtown. We park close to the arena, get out and walk around. Tucked amid the buildings and honking horns is a sunken basketball court. The goals a little worn, but the energy is electric as we approach the scene. Squeaking shoes, muffled curses, sweat dripping with sheen. We sit on the concrete wall and watch the game underway. It's an intense 3-on-3, and these guys can play. Hard drives to the basket, the ball smacked against the glass. Ankles broken, shots swishing. It's like a masterclass. Then it dawns on me, we're gonna play. And I look to my dad with fear. He reads my mind, points to the other end and says, we play over there when it's clear. We walk around the painted floor, and I pretend to be 6'4". I try to dribble and shoot like the guys on the other end of the court. We play a few games of 21 and a couple of games of horse. I ask him, are you letting me win? He smiles and says, of course. The afternoon flies by, and under the sun, the awkwardness melts away. We drive home through the city. The sky streaked with pink, and I imagine a life where I stay. Day 4. He's working today, so I pull out my sketchbook and lie in bed and draw. Not many people know how much I love art. My sketches are personal and raw. I'm working on a scene, a city big and bright, when he suddenly opens the door. I came home early, he yells, and I instinctively drop my book to the floor. He raises an eyebrow and picks it up, plopping next to me on the bed. He flips through it, taking time to notice my work, but I just bury my head. You're an artist, he says, gently closing the book, and I feel my face start to burn. He pretends he doesn't see how embarrassed I am and says, where would you like to go? It's your turn. So we drive to the museum and enter its halls, breathing and taking it in all. We get lost in the paintings, the bright youth of the women, the violence and war of the men. The sculptures still perfect, surviving hundreds of years, the intricate artifacts that manage to last. With each room a new wonder, stairs climbing to the sun, the atmosphere alive with the past. We wander room to room, pretending to be rich, choosing which ones we would buy. After we've explored every last inch, we walk to the courtyard, and my dad leans back with a sigh. There's a giant silver sculpture in front of the building, and we both stare at it, waiting to speak. This day was perfect, something I'd never do. He finally says, the best day I've had this week. I've only seen this stuff in books. I never thought I'd get the chance. Thank you, I say from my heart. You're my son, and what interests you interests me. So I have to grow too, and today is just the start. Day 5. What are your plans after high school? He asked me over eggs and toast. What's your best subject besides art, which I know you like the most? I frowned, not wanting to answer, because honestly, it's none. I don't really like school, besides sports and art, because the rest just isn't fun. You're not big on school, he asked with a smile that shows he knows how I feel. Not really. Like I can do the work, but I just don't see what's the big deal. You're smart, son, and you have passions. You have to study what you love. What you're learning now is the foundation. Take it seriously so you can rise above. I must not look like I'm listening, so he stands up and claps his hands. I just can't tell you about education, so let me show you. Hop in the car, young man. We drive through a tunnel of oak trees, touching from either side of the street. Fancy buildings hide behind a giant wall covered in ivy, trimmed so neat. This is Rice University. It's a beautiful school and a tough one to get into, but the campus is full of public art, and that's what I want to show you. There's a giant grassy commons with archways and hedges all around. A bronze carved owl, head tilted like he hears a sound. Sculptures of humans made from symbols and math. A slab of the Berlin Wall tagged with graffiti from the past. Everywhere I look, something different captures my eyes. Then we walk up to a hill, stairs leading up to the sky. It's an open pavilion with a roof, a square cut out to catch the light. When the sun goes down, this place lights up. And the sky, man, it's a sight. Can we stay and watch it? I ask, not wanting to leave. The sky space is sounding so cool. Yeah, why not, he says, sitting down on the steps. But we still need to talk about school. Okay, I say, scooting next to him, breathing in deep and letting it out slow. School is about more than just grades and tests. It's about always trying to grow. It doesn't matter where we are when we start this life, but where we end up and how hard that we try. We have to fall in love with learning to grow our bodies and minds, no matter what we do in life. I can work harder, I say, after thinking for a minute. Deep down, I know my dad is right. Work real hard. You can go to a school like this. And I smile, and then I wait for the night. Day 6. Today he takes me shopping at the biggest mall I've ever seen. We both get a new pair of sneakers, his red and white, mine black and green. As we are leaving, he gets a look in his eyes, like he sees something nobody else can see. Son, he says, can I show you something? I want you to come with me. We leave the mall and cross the street, walking to what looks like a park surrounded by trees. There's a green open space and a giant wall with water falling down in the breeze. The wall is huge, at least 50 feet tall, with people posing from all kinds of events. There's girls in fancy dresses, couples kneeling with rings, and photographers catching it all with their lens. This place is cool, Dad. I wasn't expecting this to be hiding away in the middle of the town. This place is special to me. I haven't been here in a while, he says, and gestures for me to sit down. We sit on the steps, the water backing behind us, my dad looking out at something only he can see. This may be strange for you to hear, but when your mom and I were younger, this is where I asked her to marry me. His words make my stomach twist. I don't want to talk about Mom, but I guess I know this moment would come. I forgot she used to live here too. I mumble, and my words and my voice sound dumb too. Yes, your mama is from here, he says, stretching his arms around my shoulder. We don't have to go into details now. We can save it for when you're older. but I wanted to show you this place and let you know that you come from a place of love. Things happen, things change, but I swear on the Lord above, you will always be my son, and even though we live miles apart, I love you and I will support you. I mean this with all my heart. My face is burning. It's all a bit much, but then I sit there and listen. I am grateful he isn't looking at me. He's still staring out in the distance. Finally, after a long silence, I take a deep breath and I speak. I love you too, Dad, and I want to say this has really been the best week. Day 7. My week is coming to an end, and I'm not sure how I feel. My dad is transformed from a memory into someone close and real. I'm a little mad at myself for holding back for so long. I was afraid he wouldn't like me, but man, I was so wrong. He accepts me as I am and took our relationship slow. He inspired me to work harder and gave me space to grow. All this weighs heavy as we drive through the heart of the city. Ahead in the distance, a train bridge passes over the highway, worn and gritty. On the bridge, in blue graffiti, a message waits for passersby. Be someone, is all it says, block letters printed in the sky. As we pass beneath it, my dad points up. You see that? He asked with a grin. It's a famous landmark in the city. They try to remove it, but someone just paints it again. Why did they choose Be Someone? I ask, thinking of so many things you could paint. I don't know, but it always makes me think who I want to be and who I ain't. Who do you want to be? I ask, hoping he's happy being my dad and me his son. Well, I want to be someone that inspires you, someone you look for the words of wisdom to. I want you to know better and to see your more. I want our paths nearer. And son, I want you to be someone who is proud of who he sees in the mirror. You really think all of that every time you pass by this old bridge? I ask with a grin. Pretty much, he says, laughing, but seriously, I want us to be both the best men. Don't worry, I say, punching his arm. You're doing an all right job, I guess. Man, after all we did this week, just all right? You're hard to impress. We both laugh and look out to the city. No need to say what we both know inside. Our relationship has turned a corner, and we are both filled with love and pride. The last day. This is it. Our last morning, our last breakfast, our last ride. In 30 minutes, we leave for the airport. I hope my dad doesn't cry. I'm coming back to visit this summer. My mom already said I could. My dad hasn't asked me to move here, but I wonder if he would. I'd miss my mom and my friends, and deep down that place is home. But I like this place too. The museums, the parks, the Astrodome. I don't have to decide anything today. I just have to say goodbye. We hop in the car, and at first I'm quiet, but then I decide to try. I try to tell him how happy I am and how important this week has been to me, how much I love seeing his city, and how great our relationship will be. I try, and my words aren't perfect, but I can tell he understands. He drives slow through the streets, turns the music up, and rests his hand on my hand. I didn't know how much I needed this, and as we reach the airport, I panic. There's so much more I need to say. My words stop pouring out a little frantic. Dad, I promise to do better in school. I can make all A's. You'll see. And I'll practice basketball. Next time, you won't be able to beat me. And I won't be so shy around my drawings. I'll send you pictures of my art. Son, look at me. I'm interested in only one thing, your heart. You are perfect just the way you are, and I know you will strive for the best. Just keep learning and growing, and don't worry about the rest. I'm going to miss you, I say with a little waver in my voice. I'll miss you too, but you'll be back soon. You don't have a choice. We grab my bags and walk into the airport, a weighted lift from my chest. He tussles my hair, a sad gleam in his eye, and his smile says the rest. Hey, hopefully everybody enjoyed the reading of Drive Slow. I want to send a huge shout out to Midtown Houston for having me on their children's story time.
The artwork is as beautiful as the city of Houston skyline, and the wordplay is just as smooth as a Slim Thug and Paul Wall flow. I'd like to send a special shout out to our illustrator, or my artist, Riley Hollis. She was one of my students and one of my basketball players, and I am incredibly blessed to have had an opportunity to work and connect with that up and coming young artist. So y'all stay on the lookout and keep your eyes open for Miss Riley Hollis. But thank you, Midtown Houston. Thank you for everybody. Thank you, Dad. I appreciate you for inspiring me to create this book. I want to say thank you, to Paul and Kanye for giving me the inspiration to merge hip hop and children's literature into one beautiful product right here. Y'all can check out this project, Drive Slow, and other projects that I have at coachortiz.com. You can look directly underneath coachortiz.com, spelled exactly the way that it sounds. You guys have a blessed day. Take care, and y'all go out and be that someone. Bye, everybody.